So guys, welcome back. Another week, another fantasy video, the final one of the pool stages of the World Cup. And those of you that have been following this series will know that I've been struggling a little bit. I was kind of middle of the pack. I dropped out the top 100. Well, last week was a really, really good week for me. I am back into the top 100, only just, but even so, considering where I was, I'm pretty delighted with where I've ended up. So 97th overall out of 757. My aim generally for this kind of series was to stay in the top 100, so I'm pretty delighted with where I am, and this is the reason why. So this is just based upon round 4, finished 5th overall, and actually it came down to triple captaining Darcy Graham, 585 points. The rest of the team, front row wasn't too bad, had a couple of guys in the back row, and Frizzell and Fagerson that did okay, Healy at fly half that did well, Will Jordan, but actually there's a lot of players in my team that didn't score very well at all, so it just went to show how important it is that you get your captain right, and in particular when you use that triple captain, and that massively paid off for me because Darcy Graham 585 points, 1,161 overall. We are back into the top 100, so I'm pretty delighted with that. But another game week can all go terribly wrong once again, and so we need to restart. So let's go through the team. Let's get rid of the various players. And who should we go for this week? And I've got to use my defensive, whatever it's called. I always forget what the name is. The defensive, whatever it is, that triples defensive stats. So I need to think who the best player is to use that for. But where have we got? Now, I've left Will Jordan in because I'd quite like to stick with him if I can. New Zealand, for me, is the most important selection this week. I think they are the ones that will win easily against Uruguay. Roygaard I wanted to put in as well. And so, do we go in the backs or do we go in the forwards? Who have New Zealand named at hooker? That's always going to be an interesting one. So, you've got Cody Taylor. Don't love hooker. Do you know who I might quite like to pick? I know Mark Talea's not there, but where is he? Will Jordan there. Leicester, possibly. He could be a decent option. I might go with that for the time being from a New Zealand perspective. France, Italy, is that going to be close? Not after what we saw last week, but I find it difficult with the with the French to the side. Outside backs, Biel. So you got Penaud. Penaud obviously is a great shout. I'm tempted as well by Louis Biarré because he has been selected. If I can fit Penaud in, I'll select him, but I'm thinking that with the guys I've got already, I might not be able to. So let's stick with him. And then obviously, once again, I'm doing this before a number of the teams have been selected, so it's a little bit hit and miss. I think England will select Marcus Smith, so let's go with him. He's another expensive option, which means we're leaving ourselves maybe a little bit short in the centres here, so I might have to go back through and reassess this. Do we go with a few of the Welsh boys? George North, Nick Tompkins, could be good options. They're playing Georgia. Isn't an easy game. Are they going to break that game open? I suspect that Georgia might put in a pretty good performance there. Gail Fiku, obviously, as well. So it's always a difficult thing with these videos. I try and leave it to a point where I can still select some players that I know are going to play. But obviously, it was like the other week. I've had to just go back through and replace loads of the team after I'd done the video. So what do we go with? All statuses. Selected to play. Let's go selected to play for the time being and see what we've got. So George North, Nick Tompkins, Juan Ignacio Brex. I picked him 1 week and didn't do that well. Jonathan Dante, a couple of guys from Uruguay who unfortunately I'm not going for. At this moment in time, I'm thinking maybe, should we go George North and let's go Nick Tompkins. For now, just based on the fact that they have actually been selected. Okay, so let's go with all statuses again for the back row. Michael Leach has been a pretty consistent option. Japan, Argentina, huge game. Luca Canone, again, I went with him. He didn't have a great week. Back row, I'm not so sure. Maybe I'll go with some of the... Peter O'Mahony always strikes me as a good option. I think I might put some Scots or Irish in there, but I need to wait and see on who plays really. Possibly England. Hooker. So Hooker is the other option where an All Black could be a good choice because I think they'll go well. But the other one you need to look at is games that are perhaps going to be tight. Maybe an Argentinian hooker. Montoya, possibly. Should we go with him for the time being? What if we've got 34 left? Go with the props. We can go... I'll tell you who I do want to go for actually. Just after the performance last week is the Taumaf Tamifuna, let's get him in there. And we could do with someone else. Go back to all countries. Thomas Francis, got 2 Welsh already. Could do with another Welsh, potentially. England might be interesting because I think they'll rotate, so there could be some cheaper options. Who have we got that's actually starting? Uruguay. Unfortunately, boys, you are not getting selected this week. Antonio. Yeah, maybe I need a few more French players, actually. That's probably where I need to go in this back line. We've got 1 already. Let's put Winnie Antonio in, just for now. See what happens. In the locks. And I still need someone who's going to be my defensive linchpin as well. In the locks, who have we got? Martins, he's done really well. He's been a great selection for 3. Cornelson I picked last week and didn't have a great game at all. Same with Kremer. I put him in from an Argentine perspective and didn't do great. The locks generally last week, actually, I wasn't having the best of time. Oh, tell you what, this is hard now. This is really, really tough. Who else we got? So Japan, Argentina, Fiji, Portugal. You've got Tonga, Romania. Tonga. Maybe I'm sleeping on Tonga, actually. That could be a good shout. I wonder if I get rid of Tompkins. Who could we go for Tonga in the centres? They haven't had the best time. Malachi Fekatoa, possibly. He's only a couple of points cheaper. Interesting one in the centres. What do I go for here? This is where you end up... It's almost easier doing this when I'm not being filmed, to be honest, because you can properly take your time with it. Whereas here, I feel under pressure to make a decision. Right, you know what? Put Tompkins back in. That will change, but I need to just decide for the time being. Loose forwards. Okay, Lamaro. Luca Canone. Oh, jeez. I think in the back row is where I want to go for that defensive boost. So where's that going to come from? What game's going to be a real arm wrestle? Rory Darge could be a shout for Scotland. I might go with an Irish option just so I've spread myself across both of them. So Caelan Doris, possibly. Peter O'Mahony's always a good shout. So we've got 11.5 for the locks, which is kind of reasonable. Tyke Byrne, Martins is there as a 3. Who's Portugal got again? I always have to remind myself. Portugal, Fiji. Do you know what? Stuff it. Let's go with him. And then we got 8.5 for our final position. So could go Tyke Byrne. He's quite a good option. Flamont. Yeah, I need more Frenchmen actually. Flamont. I like Flamont. Let's go with him. And then with the remaining points that we've got to work with, Martins, let's get rid of him with the greatest respect. Hang on. Which gives us 4.5 for our other lock option. Where does this go? So Flamont, we've got Will Rowlands. He's 5.5. That's annoying. So what have we got? We've got 3 Kiwis, which is important. 2 Welsh at the moment. 3 French. Couple of Scots, couple of Irish. Let's go Irish if we can. Although actually they're probably going to be too expensive, aren't they? Yeah, way too expensive. 4.5. We've got to go for a cheaper option. Is it Mark? Do I get rid of Marcus Smith possibly? That could be the shout. Do I get rid of Marcus Smith? Put in Anscombe, maybe? Hang on, I'll tell you what. Let's just chuck in a cheap option that I can confirm the team. And right, put Martins back in, confirm the team. And then it makes it easier to change things. So if Marcus Smith transfer out, Martins transfer out, 14.5. So at fly half, who did I just say? Gareth Anscombe, wasn't it? Gareth Anscombe's worth 8. So 6.5 for lock. It probably hasn't freed up enough. Certainly not for James Ryan. Do it by value. Here we go. So 6.5 options. Who have we got? McCarthy. Ryan Baird. They're going to go full strength, aren't they? 7.5. Ian Henderson. 8.5. Yeah, this is a tough one. What do you reckon, team? What do I need to do here? My second row. Should I go back to the Portuguese lad for the time being? So we've got Gareth Anscombe. I don't love Gareth Anscombe. I think Marcus Smith will play as well. And I think he'll possibly play at fullback. So I'm tempted to go back to Marcus Smith just because I think he'll get his hands on the ball a lot. He'll beat defenders. He'll be kind of lively there. So let's go Marcus Smith. All right, tell you what, let's lock that in. For the time being, that is my team. Again, it is going to change. It always does in these videos. I need to go back through it with a fine-tooth comb, and I need to work out who my captain's going to be, which realistically is probably going to be Will Jordan or Leicester, because I think New Zealand will score loads of points. Roygaard, I think, will have a good game as well. Defensive linchpin, what do you reckon? What is it? Boosters. Defensive king, that's it. Earn double points on a player for your choice of defensive statistics. See, Rory Darge isn't that. Michael Leach could be that, actually. Let's apply this and give it to Michael Leach. Confirm. Cool. All right, so that's where we are for the time being. I've still got 1.5 points to play with here, so I'm going to make sure that I use that up somehow. What do you make of the team? What do you make of them overall? What changes do I need to make? How did you do in week 4? And good luck for week 5. I think we all need it. Already I have learned the hard way that some weeks are miserable, and some weeks, like last week, when you get your captain right, in particular that triple captain, if you haven't used it yet, make sure you use it this weekend, because they all get reset after the pool stages, and realistically your triple captain's surely going to go on a Kiwi player. It's just about getting the right one. So good luck. Drop a comment down below, like the video and subscribe to the channel as well, and I'll see you in the next one.